which have struck since my update last night. All right, so last night you'll remember the 7.7 we talked about. There, all right, now it's off the map since it's been over 24. And you'll see the earthquake which struck down to the south and to the north. We'll wait for that to repopulate. Heavier movement to the south as expected because we had a deep 5 additionally down here at New Zealand. Let's show that to you. There it is, raised slightly higher off the globe. And we'll bring this back down to the earthquakes for the last 24. There we go. Heavy movement to the south, and at the point in between where the 7.7 struck and the point where the 5.0 struck, we have heavier movement in between those points, and it's a series of 5s. A swarm has broke out at Solomon Islands east of Papua New Guinea, right where we told you to watch. Additionally, to the north, compensation movement has begun, but not too much yet. Just a 4.3, where? In Hokkaido. We mentioned Hokkaido last night. Compensation movement to the north, the middle of the silent zone, Japan, and the middle of the silent zone was the spot to be struck. Now on the west coast, we got some interesting things going on. The USGS is not reporting. The 3.6 that you see on the screen here right now is from the Europeans. Now does this sound familiar? Last night, the USGS didn't report a 3.8 to the west and a 2.2. Europeans reported that. So now we have a case of two different sets of upper 3, lower 4.0 earthquakes, depending on which stations you go with, striking Northwest California, and the USGS has not reported those earthquakes at all. Not on their page, not on their feed. It's deleted. They are earthquakes. They're happening 11 kilometers down, up to 5 kilometers down. Politics is playing into this and why they're not reporting those earthquakes. Do you know why they're not reporting those earthquakes, guys? Did you know that the USGS has invested a lot of time and energy in coming and debunking my earthquake forecasting? You know they went to the news media and tried to smear me, and they sent their best professors from the Pacific Northwest against me on my pages, publicly using their public-funded agencies to do it during the day while they're at work? Did you know that they watch my earthquake forecast and actively deny the things that I say in it every week, that they've issued all kinds of statements about it? Did you know that the people that are in charge of reporting the earthquakes up here in the Northwest are the same people that are the ones that are trolling me publicly on my pages and did all this in the media? Now, they're deleting earthquakes. Why would they be deleting earthquakes in the area where we warned? We warned the area from San Francisco to the Gorda Escarpment for 4.0 earthquake activity to strike. 4 to 5. And instead, we get multiple 4s, which they downgrade to 3, and then the USGS deleted entirely. And the Europeans are left out hanging with their information out there, and I trust them. They are not falsifying that data. It's picked up by 40 or 50 different stations, but not reported for political reasons. And again, they're trying to save face. It makes them look really, really bad what they did with earthquake forecasting, and it turns all of geology on its head, the things I'm talking about. So we're talking about whole sections of the textbook having to be rewritten. Entire theories, whole branches of science would have to adjust. Now, as I'm talking here, guys, a 4.5 has just struck north or central Italy, North Italy. 4.5, shallow. This is the exact spots where we warned yesterday. We talked about North Italy, we talked about North Europe, we talked about compensation movement larger than the deep movement, 2 magnitudes larger. And there was a deep 2.5 yesterday at nearly 600 kilometers deep. 400 miles down, there was a 2.5. That was followed today by a 5.2, 4.8, 4.5, 3.9, 3.7 across Europe. Now, I would hope at this point that you guys would go back and watch my update from last night, which was completely censored and held back, deleted from my channel. When I tried to post it, it wouldn't post. Other people tried to record it. They froze up, died out when they were trying to upload it. Some people got copyright strikes for uploading my videos. It's unbelievable. So, Now a 4.5 strikes North Italy in the exact area warned. We talked about, where did we talk about, guys? North Italy, Switzerland, South France, Austria. And to watch for a mid 4.0 earthquake to strike. Why were we looking for a mid 4? A very deep 2.5 struck last night. And we watched for 2 magnitudes larger. And I said, well, if it's a 2.5 and it goes 2 magnitude larger, that'll take us up to 4.5. And because the deep earthquake struck in Bosnia, in case you don't know where Bosnia is, let me show you. The deep earthquake struck to the east of Italy last night over here in Bosnia. Again, this being Bosnia. And when a deep earthquake struck there, that led me to issue the warning for a shallower, larger earthquake up to 2 magnitudes larger. And this is exactly 2 magnitudes larger in the area west-northwest of the deep earthquake. Just as expected. So, could we please get the word out once again that I am trying to do the appropriate thing in science and show people what I've discovered, which is that earthquakes are related across distances. Deep earthquakes cause shallow earthquakes. It shouldn't be a matter of controversy. We can use this for humankind betterment. We can forecast earthquakes. The days of denial should be over because I think I've proved beyond a shadow of a doubt to the hundreds of people that have been in here live and to the scientific establishment from documentation in video of where to watch beforehand. So last night when we told you where to watch and we told you to watch for 2.5 to 2 magnitudes greater, and that's what hit within a day, that means there is a relation between deep earthquakes and shallow earthquakes. It means earthquakes progress across distances about 500 to 1,000 miles away. It means deep earthquakes can lead to shallow earthquakes within a few days' time. And it means earthquakes progress across Europe from the east to the west. Because if you take a look at the earthquakes over the past couple days, you'll see the larger movement starting down in the east-southeast and then pushing to the west-northwest towards the mid-Atlantic with our more recent earthquake striking in Poland. Very rare, near 4, and a 4.5. Largest earthquake to strike North Italy in a fairly long time. We talked about North Italy, warned North Italy. They had a multiple day warning starting 2 days ago with the first deep earthquake, the first deep 4.4, which then caused the 5.2 that you see here. And then the deep 2.5 caused the deep 4.5, or the shallow 4.5. This is very interesting. Now, we have the USGS deleting earthquakes. We have earthquakes striking in the spots where we're warning. The spot to the south. Look at the swarm. Look. The swarm that broke out here. Shallow. That's the spot we talked about last night. I'm not patting myself on the back. I just got to tell you because look what's happening to me because I'm trying to show you. It's disgusting what's happening to me in the scientific world. But, anyways, let's get into it. Let's just put the earthquakes back onto a 48-hour feed. This is a combined total of the USGS and EMSC feed. So we do have to rely on both agencies since the USGS is doing the no-no, the stank, and deleting earthquakes. So be aware, Europe, just in the spot where we expected, it was struck. Now you're probably asking now, well, first of all, I haven't issued a forecast yet. I haven't even made my forecast, and I'm glad I didn't because look what's happened. So now where do we watch? Well, we have to watch to the west and northwest for compensation movement off the 4.5 and 4.0s. Guess who that puts in the mix? Well, when we go west, southwest from this location, we get down to the Canaries and Azores. Due west is the Azores. Over here, this little island chain right at the split in the mid-Atlantic. Well, we have to watch from Canaries to Azores for compensation movement. This could also cause a new swarm somewhere in between the Azores and Portugal. Additionally, to the west-northwest. So this puts the North Mid-Atlantic ridge going up to the North Pole back into question. And when I say the North Pole, we go right up past Svalbard and we get to the Gackel Ridge. And then we get to the end of the North Mid-Atlantic ridge, which is Mount Dutch supervolcano. That's that supervolcano I discovered last month, 2 months ago. So we have to watch in that location, and we're going to have to watch over the next day, possibly 2 days. But the pressure is obvious, transferring from the south to the northwest, and we have a line of earthquakes showing where the pressure is terminated so far Well, that will press to the west-northwest, go right across the English Channel. What if the English Channel gets struck again? This is kind of like the activity we saw 2 years ago when the force started striking along the English Channel. Or when the 5.2, or was it 5.4, struck in North Scotland at the volcano there. England, you might need to be on watch now that I think about this. Before I say that we're going to see the Mid-Atlantic ridge get hit, this is real time, guys. Look, this is how it goes with earthquake forecasting. I have to adjust what I just said, which is, first we might see activity strike more to the northwest than the west. We have to take the west into consideration over at the Azores, but to the northwest, in between Iceland and the spot that just moved, where does that put us? Puts us down in the English Channel going up into England. What kind of movement? Well, I would say a combined total of the movement we're seeing so far. So we do have to be on watch for larger activity to strike to the west-northwest. Okay? So, wow. All right. Well, this is why I do what I do. So much love, everybody. I'll be back on in a little bit. Pay attention to the earthquakes which are striking and the earthquakes which they're omitting.